Hello beautiful creatures and welcome back. I am doing a video response to the crystal tag that has been going around by Storytelling Tea and Tarot, and her video is wonderful and she's giving away a whole bunch of crystals, and even if it's not open internationally I still really wanted to do this tag because I've been so immersed in my crystal babies recently that I thought it would be fun anyway to show you guys, or to give you guys some of my opinion. I'm gonna bring it in closer. Hello. Okay, so I'm gonna get started with the first question, which is, what is the first crystal that you fell in love with? The first crystal that I fell in love with, I didn't expect to fall in love with. So it's a sort of a tie between tiger eye and amethyst. And I have a very particular piece of amethyst, which is not in this room at the moment, so I can't show it to you. But this is the particular piece of tiger eye that I fell in love with. And I remember I was in primary school and I must have been about 10 or 11, and I've always been into collecting stones, river stones, rocks, crystals, seashells. I loved all that stuff as a kid. I still love it. And I read a book called Seeing Through the Tiger's Eye, and ever since that tiger eye had these amazing mystical associations for me. And not only that, I always read in my horoscope which crystals are meant to be associated with Taurus, and this one always came up, and I always thought, why do I always have to get the brown crystals? What the hell? I don't even like brown. Why is it brown? But then I saw this one and I really loved it. And so, yeah, I think this is really the first crystal that I fell in love with. But I love all of them. I really do. It's really hard to answer that question. So, which crystal do you resonate the strongest with? At the moment, it's gonna have to 110% be Labradorite. I would love to actually be a Labradorite crystal, if I possibly could. There is nothing more mystical and magical to me than that Labrador essence. And I did get a couple of new pieces of Labradorite, because I couldn't resist them and they were a nice size. So this is the one that you guys have seen recently. I'm trying to show you its Labrador essence and it just won't happen. Oh, maybe it's the light. Maybe you can see it in this one a little bit better. You can sort of see it. Anyway, you guys know what it looks like. It's stunning. This is the crystal that I am 110% resonating with the strongest at the moment. But other than that, the crystals that I normally resonate with are tiger eye, amethyst, clear quartz, and yeah, that's about it. Those are the sort of my top picks for the stones that I'm always going to be working with forever and ever. And yeah, maybe even white howlite as well. I'm gonna have to say white howlite actually, because this stone is a lifesaver, honestly. Okay, white howlite. So, which crystal do you have trouble resonating with is question number 3. I'm trying to think. Okay, so like I've mentioned in my other videos, I've had issues with black tourmaline and hematite especially, where they just don't seem to want to work with me. So any of those magnetic sort of crystals, or those really dark energy crystals, except for my tektite, you know, touch wood, that one's going to stay with me. All the black crystals, apart from the tektite I have and a little piece of Apache tear, have gone walkabout on me. Like, they just don't want to work with me, and, you know, what can I do, really? Like, yeah, there's nothing I can do. So it's not because they don't resonate with me, it's more because maybe we just, you know, our planes are different, maybe. I don't know. Anyway. So that is probably, yeah, so it would have to be like black tourmaline or onyx, or possibly, what was the other one that I said? Hematite, yeah. I don't own any hematite whatsoever, and it's because it keeps disappearing. So, question number 4. Crystals that you recommend for psychic work. Okay, dun dun dun, of course I'm going to tell you Labradorite. This baby's gonna connect you with the divine, in yourself, out of yourself. This is the stone. It's amazing to use. when you are doing any sort of meditation involving pathworking, sort of connecting to your guides, when you're just reading tarot and you want to get into that spiritual sort of state. That is an excellent stone. I'm also going to have to say Seraphinite, which is a relatively new stone to me, which I resonate with like on the 5th dimension. It's like, what do they call it? Angel's wings is the nickname for this stone, but just because of those inclusions that it has. Oh, beautiful. This one really does connect you with your guides. This one's for the divine sort of connection. Then the third one that I'm going to have to say is selenite as well. And this one is also very celestial, very calming, very sort of peaceful, and it does just clear out the energies and just leaves it open for you, so you were just a sort of open channel to receive stuff. Crystals for dream work is the next question number 5. I'm gonna have to say that amethyst, and this is actually my mother's piece of amethyst, but she's allowed me to keep it here in my room because I feel like it serves more purpose here in my room than it does being locked away in a cupboard somewhere. And this is a beautiful stone. So amethyst is great for dream work because for me, it's very stimulating yet also very peaceful. I'm not, I don't get that overwhelming calming effect that most people get with amethyst. I do find this a really stimulating stone, particularly for my third eye, and it just makes me super hyper aware of everything going on around me. So I'm going to have to say amethyst. I really love prehnite. It's an amazing one for sort of, maybe not so much a dream work, but it does sort of keep away nightmares and anxiety around insomnia and stuff like that, a lot of the issues that cause insomnia, so I always like to have this one handy. Another dream working crystal is labradorite. I slept with a piece of this in my hand last night and didn't have too many crazy wild things going on, but this one was good. And last but not least, and I'm sort of reluctant to recommend this, but I will recommend it if you want a super intense experience, and it is Lemurian quartz. And I actually slept with this to try it again the other night, and it rolled out of my hand, and it fell on my floor, and I have hardwood floors, and so I think it just, you can see that little crack in there, but it's still beautiful, it's still my baby. So now I'm really reluctant to sleep with this one again in my hand, even though I feel like that is the channel, to do it. Anyway, like I said, if you want really wacky, crazy, connecting, doing actual dream work, Lemurian seed quartz or Lemurian quartz is what I recommend. I was looking at this stone the other day, and maybe this can then feed into, yes, I'll feed this into question 6, which is the most mystical crystal experience that I've had. So I was looking into this stone the other day, and with the light, it actually looks like there are hieroglyphs in here. Like, no joke, I can see Egyptian hieroglyphs in this quartz stone. And that is a pretty fucking mystical experience for me, to be honest. Every time I look into this stone, if I hit the right light and I sort of turn it right, like now, I can see coding, and they look like Egyptian hieroglyphs. And that is a mystical experience for me. Not to mention my crazy dream that I mentioned when I made my other video, can't remember what it's called, and I talked about using this quartz. So my next question is the crystals that I recommend for grounding. That's going to have to be tiger eye. Big time, tiger eye, 110%. This is my go-to stone for grounding. I don't do much grounding. I don't know why. I really should. I really should ground, but I don't. And maybe that's because I just really enjoy living all up in here all the time. That's just how I sort of tend to function, but I do need to bring it down, and I don't do that. But this stone is amazing for that. So tiger eye, definitely recommend for grounding work. I'm also going to say sardonyx. This feels like an amazing grounding stone. Can't tell you really how effective it is because I just got it today. But I can already tell this one's an amazing healer and grounder. And isn't this just beautiful? So sardonyx is actually banded onyx. So onyx comes in actually all different colors, and this is a wand that has all the inclusions in it, and I just feel like, I don't know, I just want to like rub it on me. It's so beautiful. I feel like this is great for grounding too. Okay, so how do I charge my crystals? How do I charge my crystals? I used to leave them out in the moonlight in a bowl of water, in a glass bowl, with a bit of salt to charge over the full moon. When I read somewhere and I noticed that some of my crystals became damaged by putting it in salt water, and that the fairies used to take a lot of my crystals when I left them outside, or they would just go walkabout and I would never see them again, I kind of stopped doing that. Now what I do to charge them is I leave them in sunlight. I have sage and incense being lit all the time. I have specific altars that I know have really powerful energetic fields that charge my crystals. When it comes to cleansing, I've recently got into a bit of sage, but I think I may like Palo Santo more. And I do sage my area that my crystals are in. I've also visualized sort of divine white light going into them to charge and clear them of any negativity. When I feel like a particular crystal is stuck, I usually put it on my main altar. It's where I connect with divinity and stuff, and I leave it there until I feel like I can work with it again. So that's sort of how I charge my crystals. I don't really leave them out in moonlight anymore, but the moonlight does stream through my window, which sort of goes through all my rooms, so I count that as leaving them out in moonlight. Sometimes I will put my crystals out in full sun, in the midday sun, depending on how I feel, but usually I don't really connect with solar energy too much, so that doesn't really happen that often. So the next question, how do I bond with my crystals? I hold them. I hold them all the time when I can. I try and meditate with them. I carry them around with me. I kind of like, yeah, I have them with me all the time. I have them in my sacred space. I have them in my room. I look at them. I pay attention to them. I work with them. Yeah, that's kind of how I connect with them and how I bond with them. And I feel like the instant connection really happens for me when I go into a store and I pick up a crystal and I have that feeling of I can't put this down, or I get a zap, or I get, you know, something that just tells me that this crystal will either be perfect for this work, or it will be sort of perfect for a tarot deck that I have, or something like that. So for me, crystals, buying crystals is a very in-person, very physical thing. I don't really buy a lot of crystals online, if any actually, because I feel like I really need to have that instant connection. And that's kind of the beginning bonding stages for me with a crystal. So I know on an intuitive level that we're going to work together. So the top 3 crystals, and now this is the last question, that I think everybody should own. Okay, that's sort of a tough one, because everybody is obviously different, but I am going to suggest, and I don't have any with me right now, I'm going to suggest my top 1 crystal is going to be clear quartz. You can't go wrong with clear quartz. It is an amplifier, a healer, a sort of, you know, it's one of those all-rounder crystals that basically anybody can use and anyone can feel safe around. Banding off that, I do recommend rose quartz as well, as part of the quartz family, and smoky quartz. So any sort of type of quartz family, apart from maybe Lemurian quartz, just because of my own experience, I would definitely recommend that everybody should have some. The second favorite crystal that I would say everyone should have is probably tiger eye. And that's because it has amazing properties and it's an absolutely beautiful stone. It's grounding, it's protective, it feels like a sort of crouching tiger energy. So it will look after you if you need protection. So quartz can open you up and amplify everything and make you aware of things, and tiger eye can ground you and make sure that nothing is attaching itself to you, that you're not experiencing these negative energies around you and that kind of stuff. And then I would say amethyst as my third one because I love it so much. But I'm gonna say howlite as my top 3 crystals, so white howlite particularly. And that would be very new for me. And that's only because when I've started working with this stone, it has just been amazing for, you know, any types of anxieties, any insomnia, sort of nightmares and stuff like that. It also helps me to lucid dream so that I can actually be in control if I'm having a nightmare, or if I'm beginning to feel like I'm going to be into a sort of nightmarish part of my dream. I can usually prevent it or wake myself up. And this is an incredibly calming stone, and I feel like it connects me with my inner self and my intuition, and it also keeps me very much in the here and now too. So this has just been an absolutely amazing stone, and I recommend white howlite for everyone. So that's all the question, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys join in the tag and let me know if you do. Post your videos, because I love to see people's favorite crystals and their techniques and what they think everything is good for. I think that's awesome. So thank you so much to, I think her channel name is Storytelling Tea and Tarot, for starting up this tag, and for your generous giveaway. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!